Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. We have a lot of news this evening, so let's get started. First up, school lock-in lifted in Hinsdale after explosive material found in abandoned home. Police say they're continuing to remove materials from home. An abandoned home in Hinsdale, where explosive materials were found Thursday, has been secured, police said. Students were kept inside schools in the Indian Acres area after what appeared to be numerous explosive devices were found in a nearby home, police said. Police said later in the afternoon that the home was secure and students were able to leave school. Officials said several items appeared to be explosive but were not. Other potential explosive materials found at scene were rendered safe. Homes in the area had also been evacuated, but residents were later allowed to return home. Officials said a soccer game scheduled for 4 p.m. would go on as planned. The New Hampshire State Police Explosive Disposable Unit was called to the scene, and the Hinsdale Fire Department and other police agencies were assisting Hinsdale police. This is a developing story. It will be updated as more information comes into our newsroom. Police on Seacoast warn of alleged scam involving packages being sent to random homes. Officers issue warning after rise in number of cell phone theft, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
For 10 years, New England homeowners have trusted Century Roofing. We get the job done right at a fair price. Call today to arrange a free estimate and to reserve a spot for your 2019 roof replacement. Century Roofing, we've got you covered.
A warning from Portsmouth Police this morning: if you receive a package that you didn't order, it could be a scam. Police say two people from New York used people's information to buy valuables and send them to random homes. Police say the pair would wait for the items to get delivered and then drive up and take the item from their porch. They were arrested in Portsmouth this week after police say they tried to pick up a new iPhone. Both face fraud and theft charges.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire man accused of defrauding clients via fake celebrity charity. State officials obtained court order to freeze asset of Dean Stokes. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
For 10 years, New England homeowners have trusted Century Roofing. We get the job done right at a fair price. Call today to arrange a free estimate and to reserve a spot for your 2019 roof replacement. Century Roofing, we've got you covered.
A former New Hampshire financial advisor is accused of scamming two people of more than $570,000, and they say he used celebrities' names to do it. According to the State Bureau of Securities, Dane Stokes' clients invested the money into what they thought was a charity project in Africa involving Taylor Swift, Bill Gates, and other famous people. The agency says Stokes promised his clients a 20% return, but instead he allegedly spent the money on himself and then sent the rest of the money to other people across the country. They say Stokes even claimed to be engaged to Swift at one point. Stokes' assets have been frozen, and he may face criminal charges.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Manchester firefighters kick off campaign to give coats to children who need them. Firefighters say they want to give out 1,000 coats. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
Do you need a new roof but think you can't afford it? Our average customer pays $7,500 for a total roof replacement, and we have finance plans with payment options under $150 per month. Call today. Century Roofing, we've got you covered.
Just the smile on the kid's face is unbelievable.
This is what it's all about. Video from last year showing coats being distributed to students. The end result of Operation Warm. Thursday in Manchester, this year's effort got underway with a huge helping hand from Brady Sullivan. A check for $10,000.
Knowing that the dollars are going directly to buying these jackets and going directly in the hands of every student that needs a warm coat, that's very meaningful for us at Brady Sullivan.
Arthur's check will buy 500. So now we have to fundraise the rest. That's put us halfway to our goal on day one.
That goal being 1,000 coats. Manchester firefighters have been participating in Operation Warm since 2014. Firefighters say in the course of their job, they would see things they just couldn't ignore.
During the winter months when we would be going on calls and kids would be coming out of school and we'd see them and they'd be in light t-shirts and maybe a sweatshirt and things of that nature.
Last year, the firefighters purchased and distributed 822 coats, working with the school and health departments to make sure those coats go to those who need them. But school officials say sometimes kids are reluctant to ask for help, so staffers have to be proactive.
Some of our staff are seeing kids coming in on these cold days without a jacket. We'll contact the family to see how we can help, and we'll connect them with these programs.
Now, if you would like to help the firefighters reach their goal, you'll see the link at the bottom of our screen, or head to our website, WMUR.com. You'll also find the link there. In the newsroom, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Bill creating coin honoring Krista McAuliffe signed into law. President Trump signed bill today. On Wednesday. Sorry about that, yesterday. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
For 10 years, New England homeowners have trusted Century Roofing. We get the job done right at a fair price. Call today to arrange a free estimate and to reserve a spot for your 2019 roof replacement. Century Roofing, we've got you covered.
The U.S. will produce a coin honoring the Concord teacher who died in the Challenger shuttle disaster.
President Trump signed a bill for the Krista McAuliffe commemorative coin yesterday. It will be released next year with proceeds helping FIRST Robotics, which helps students pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. So many years later, Krista McAuliffe still helping kids learn out there.
I definitely.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Promising not to run and hide, Blankenberger announces candidacy for U.S. House. U.S. Navy veteran, former Republican lawmaker to make second run for seat held by four-term Democrat Custer. A second Republican has entered the race to challenge Democratic U.S. Rep. Annie Custer next year in the New Hampshire's 2nd Congressional District. New Hampshire primary source reported Thursday morning that U.S. Navy Reserves Captain, former combat nurse, and former state rep Lynn Blankenberger would announce her second run for the seat in a video. Blankenberger joins former state rep Steve Newgern, who is also making his second run after defeating Blankenberger and 5 other Republican candidates in the 2018 congressional primary. Newgern lost to Custer in the general election. Takeaway from Republican vows New Hampshire House special election win in Epping. Republicans are hurdling a victory in a state legislative special election in Epping on Tuesday night, while Democrats say their candidate showed well in a heavily Republican town. In the first closely watched election since the 2018 midterms, the facts are these. Republican former state rep Michael Vowes is headed back to the New Hampshire House after defeating Democrat Naomi Andrews 880 to 866. Andrews is the former longtime chief of staff, campaign manager, and close friends with former U.S. Rep. Carol Shea Porter. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Thursday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the green and went up. US 10-year closed flat. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Dow rises more than 100 points after Trump tweets stocks trade deal hopes. Stocks rose on Thursday after President Donald Trump said he will meet with Chinese Vice Premier Liu He on Friday, raising hope the two countries could make progress on the trade front. Turkey launches offensive against Kurds in Syria. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Now to the fallout from President Trump's decision to pull U.S. troops out of a key part of Syria, abandoning the allies who helped fight ISIS. Turkey launching an invasion into the territory, affecting the ongoing battle against ISIS. Ian Pannell is in northern Syria with more. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning. Robin, you know, the last time I was here, Kurdish and American troops were working hand in hand to defeat ISIS. But this morning, Turkey is invading this area, and that partnership with the US and the battle against ISIS has been thrown into disarray. Overnight, Turkish forces attacking Syria from the sky and the ground. Machine gun fire can be heard filling the air as we enter day 2 of the assault from Turkey. Turkey claiming to have struck more than 180 targets, launching an all-out assault against America's Kurdish allies who've been on the front lines in the fight against ISIS. A ground attack now also underway this morning. The large-scale operation coming just days after President Trump's announcement to pull US troops back from the border, seemingly giving Turkey a green light. But Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is pushing back on that assertion as the administration again appears to send mixed messages.
Yeah, well, that's just false. The United States didn't give Turkey a green light.
One US official now tells ABC News that some Kurdish guards have left their posts at prisons holding ISIS fighters.
raising fears that the Turkish incursion could result in ISIS detainees escaping, putting US national security at risk. President Trump distancing himself from the Turkish incursion, calling the operation a bad idea.
But when pressed about the potential danger posed by the prisoners if they escape, President Trump seemingly unconcerned.
Well, they're going to be escaping to Europe. That's where they want to go. They want to go back to their homes.
Turkey's President Erdogan labels the Kurds terrorists and claims the operation will prevent a terror corridor and bring peace. But on the ground, it's not terrorists, but civilians fleeing. Mothers with small babies packing up everything they can, cramming into the back of pickup trucks. But there are few safe places to run to now. The Kurds reporting multiple civilian casualties and at least 5 deaths.
All right, let's go.
We've been on the front lines with the Kurds, watching their troops fight alongside US soldiers for years and keeping ISIS at bay.
Just this morning, 2 British ISIS members known as the Beatles, held by the Kurds, but now taken into US custody.
President Trump threatening retaliation against Turkey if the Kurds are completely wiped out.
I will wipe out his economy if that happens.
Strong words from the president, but I can tell you no one here is listening. Not the Turkish army that's driving its forces across the border, and certainly not the Kurds, who are more concerned about staying alive and protecting their homes. You know, we were just speaking to a Kurdish intelligence official, and he kept asking why had America abandoned its friends in the region, saying no one in the Middle East would believe America's word from now on.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night, and bye, everyone.